This is a short survey that you can send to people who attended your webinar. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a post-webinar survey like this inside HubSpot, and more importantly, how to set up a workflow that sends it only to people who showed up live. Let's get started. So we are inside HubSpot. First thing we need to do is to build the actual survey. Head up to the left navigation bar and click on Service, then select Feedback Surveys. Once you are on the surveys page, click the Create Survey button on the top right corner. Here you will see a few options to create a customer support, customer satisfaction, loyalty, and different types of surveys. For a post-webinar survey that we're going to create, we want to choose Custom Survey. This gives us full control over the questions we ask. So select the Custom Survey and click Next. Here we need to choose the delivery method, select Workflow, click Next again. Then select the new survey editor and click Create Survey. Now you are on the survey builder. We will start by giving our survey a name. In the top you can see the name of your survey. Let's call it post-webinar survey. This is only for your team, so your attendees won't see the name. Next, we need to build out our questions. For a post-webinar survey, I would recommend to keep it tight, not more than 3 questions, so people are more likely to complete it. To add a question to your survey, in the left side from the navigation bar, you have this plus button. Click on it. And here you have different types of questions that you can add, or you can click on the fields and drag and drop anything you want to your survey. The first field I want to add is the sentiment one. So I just drag and drop it in my survey. Here we need to connect our questions to a HubSpot property, or if you don't have one, you can just create a new property right inside the surveys by clicking the Create New Property button. I already have one created. It's called Overall Webinar Rating, this one. I'm going to select it. Then scroll down. My first question is going to be like, overall, how would you rate today's webinar? I'm going to make this field required. Now let's add the second question. Again, click on this plus button. My second question is going to be rating. I'm going to connect it to my HubSpot property. Then scroll down. I'm going to add my question. How relevant was the content to your work or goals? And the value labels here, I want to change them to not relevant. And the highest value should be very relevant. Then I'm going to make this field required too. So toggle this on. And let's move on to the third question. In my third question, I want to ask them what topics do they want me to cover in my next webinar. So it should be a multiple choice. Drag and drop. Connect it to your HubSpot property. Yes. I'm going to add my question here. Which of the following topics would you like us to cover in a future webinar? And I have my options here, like webinar topics that I'm suggesting. Next, let's remove this email field. It's by default here, but we don't need this because we are sending this survey to our webinar attendees and we already have their emails. So I'm going to just delete this. You can make this field required too, but I'm not going to do it. Let's close this one and add the last question. I actually want to add an open-ended question to gather some feedback from our attendees. So I'm going to drag and drop the multi-line text here. I'm going to connect it to my HubSpot property. Then scroll down. I'll add my question here. I'm going to ask, are there any other comments or suggestions that you have? I don't want to make it required, so I'm going to just close it for now. Once your questions are in place, we can go ahead and change the style of our survey. So click on your survey, then navigate to the Style tab. Here I want to remove the layout. Actually, I want to keep it as simple as possible. Then instead of this icon, I want to add my logo. So click Replace Image and select your logo. This looks too big, so I'm going to adjust the size. Let's choose 100. This looks better. You can add your website link here. getcontrast.io, open link in new tab, of course. Then we can close this. Now, once you are happy with the questions and the style of your survey, we can go ahead and customize the thank you message. Let's close this and go to the thank you message. I'm gonna actually replace this image first and add my logo again to change the size. And we also want to adjust the message. We want to keep it as short and simple as possible. Now we also need to update the copy of the email that your webinar attendees are going to receive. To find that section, navigate to the left navigation bar, click on the email, and here you can customize everything you need. For example, you can change from who the email is going out, the address, the name, the subject line, and the copy of the email itself. Let's click on the email. I actually have my copy ready, so I just paste it here. We can close this now, and there is an interesting feature I wanted to show you. Go to the settings in the left navigation bar and go to response settings. Here you can set up an action, so when someone submits a survey, you send an email to their contact owner. This is actually very useful because they can follow up with that lead immediately. So I'm gonna just turn this on. And once you are happy with everything, we can go ahead and publish our survey. In the top right corner, you have Review and Publish button. Click on it and publish. Before we create the workflow to send the survey to our webinar attendees, we actually need to make sure HubSpot knows who attended our webinars. I'm using Contrast to run my webinars, and Contrast has a native HubSpot integration, and every webinar touchpoint, like webinar registration, live attendance, replay views, poll responses, chat activity, they are all moved to HubSpot. Contrast also supports one-click list creation for HubSpot, so you can instantly generate a list of people who attended your webinar live. I'm going to actually show you how it works. So I'm going to go to my Contrast account, then click on registrations, and here you can see this button that says create list. Click on it. Here you can create different lists, like a list of your registrations, live viewers, replay viewers, everyone who clicked on your CTA, everyone who answered the polls, and Q&A messages. I actually only need the live viewers, so I'm going to keep it and click create. Here Contrast is going to create my list, and that list updates automatically, so you don't have to touch it. Now let's go back to HubSpot and start creating our workflow. So I'm going to go back here, navigate to the left menu again, go to the automation section and select workflows. Here in the top right corner you have create workflow button. Click on it and select from scratch. Here we need to set our enrollment trigger. This is actually the condition that determines who enters this workflow. I'm going to select when filter criteria is met, segment list membership. I need to find the list that Contrast created for me. It's called Contrast Live Viewers and your webinar name. I'll select this list, click done and save. If your webinar platform doesn't support one-click list, you can also search for the property that your webinar integration uses to track attendance. This might look something like webinar attendance or attended the webinar, and you need to set that filter to true. But the logic is the same. We only want people who attended our webinar live. Now we can add the action to our workflow. So click the plus button. Here we need to search for survey. Here under communications, we have send survey. Then from here, we need to choose the survey we want to send. It's the post-webinar survey. Then click Save. Now we can review and turn on our workflow. In the top right corner, click Review and Turn On. Make sure the re-enrollment feature is turned off here because we only want each person to go through this workflow once. You can click Next, set up the timing settings. If you don't want the survey to be sent on weekends or outside of working hours, you can set them up here. And when you are ready, click Skip to Turn On. HubSpot is going to generate a name and description for your workflow and turn on your workflow. Once responses start coming in, you can review everything back in the surveys dashboard. For that, we need to go back. You again need to navigate to Service and Feedback Surveys. Hover over your survey, click on Actions, and select Details. Once you get some responses, you will see everything here, average ratings, individual responses, and for the open text answers, there is no automatic summarizations here, so you will need to spend a little time to reading through those manually. You can click on this Analyze button to see trends across questions, and all of this data is linked to individual contact records in HubSpot. So if you want to segment or filter by response, you can actually use this data. For example, everyone who gave a rating of 3 or below could go into a follow-up sequence, or everyone who said they are interested in a specific webinar topic, they can get tagged accordingly. And that's the full setup, a custom post-webinar survey published live with a workflow that sends it only to live attendees. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.